All right, if you're a fan of Game of Thrones, which, by the way, I think it's called a throning. I think you're a throny. Well, we've got just the thing for you to add to your bucket list. Before Melissa left, she got the chance to check out a new studio tour available in Ireland, and you might even see a familiar face. Check it out.
Gabe, you look absolutely fantastic. You're actually wearing a robe. Where are you standing this morning?
So if you're a Game of Thrones fan, you know this is one of the outfits that would have been worn by one of the Knights Watch. And of course, all the costumes here you would have seen on screen during the 8 seasons of Game of Thrones. So Melissa, we are at the world's only Game of Thrones studio tour in Banbridge in Northern Ireland. And if you've seen the show, then you recognize some of these sets. This is the Great Hall at Winterfell, for example, where Jon Snow would have been declared King of the North. This is Dragonstone, the ancient home of House Targaryen. All of these sets, after the 8 seasons were done being filmed, remained intact, and they've now built this interactive, immersive experience inside this 110,000 square foot studio, Linden Mill Studios, right in the beautiful town of Banbridge here in Northern Ireland. You'll run into Nightwalkers, wildlings, giants, and you might even, Melissa, run into one of the actors from the show. Ian McElhenney was Barristan the Bold, the Lord Commander of the King's Guard. There he is in his full regalia. This was where you come to work every day a couple of years ago. It's got to feel good to come back.
That's where I came to work whenever we were doing season 1. Because season 1 I was with Robert Baratheon, and that was largely set in King's Landing. And of course we have the King's Landing set here. So I would have spent a lot of time on that set, and that was very special. After that, I didn't really want to have anything to do with either Cersei or Joffrey, so I took off and ended up chasing Daenerys and became the commander of her Queen's Guard for 3 years until I got killed by a bunch of harpies, as you do. You know,
it just happened a lot there in Game of Thrones. It just is one of those things. And Ian is a local. He lives in Belfast, about 30 minutes north of here. And Northern Ireland itself, which is your backyard where you grew up, as you know, Melissa, became a big part of the show itself. The landscape, the dark hedges here. This is King's Road, the opening of season 2, for example. These are places we get to visit as visitors. Ian, as a place you grew up in, it's just got to feel so neat to see it feature so prominently.
It's a very beautiful part of the world, and we're very lucky living here, and you can access it so easily. I mean, from the city, it's no bother to get out into the countryside, get out to the seaside, climb a mountain, whatever you want to do. It's a stunningly beautiful part of the world, and anybody who comes to visit should take advantage of it and make sure they get out and see it.
Yeah, and then, Melissa, if you're flying to Belfast, again, 30 minutes south of Belfast, and if you're flying to Dublin, as I did earlier this week, it took me about an hour and a quarter to drive up here, so super easy to do. And again, this is an experience that opened up just earlier this year, so brand new in so many ways, but bringing the energy of Game of Thrones and all those wonderful storylines back to life all over again.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, Game of Thrones, a phenomenal global success. I want to know what it's like for Ian to have worked on the show, but then seeing it displayed the way it is right now with you in the studio and allowing this opportunity for that immersive experience for so many millions of fans.
Yeah, it smacks just like it did when you were here working, right?
It was a very special show to work on. I mean, we all thought, well, this could be special, but nobody knew initially. And then, of course, it grew into what it became. And it was just such a pleasure to be part of it and to know that you were part of it. And the great thing as an actor is that when you've been in something that is as popular and successful as that, it rubs off on you. You know, you go on into other things and you have the knowledge and the history of having been part of what was a very wonderful and special thing.
And of course, a lot of you will recognize Ian from Dairy Girls. He's Grandad Joe.
Yes.
Star Wars Rogue One. I mean, what's been neat, Melissa, is to see, because it's open. The studio's tour is open now. People have been coming in. They'll see Ian. They're getting their selfies. They're getting their autographs. So again, people have not forgotten, as you know, all those storylines, all those characters, and all those fantastic scenes that we know so well from that great series, Game of Thrones.
And Gabe, if people want to add this to their bucket list for 2023, where do they go so they can make their plans and they can come out and see Ian in person?
So, Ireland.com, there's a contest that Tourism Ireland is hosting right now to get you out here. You can win airfare and 3 nights in Belfast and tickets to the Game of Thrones studio tour at Ireland.com. Otherwise, go to their website, GameOfThronesStudioTour.com. You can reserve your tickets. Kids 16 and under are free, so a great family thing to do. And again, it's self-guided, so spend all day here if you want. Eat, there's dining, and again, you can really get deep into the detail.
And there's great retail as well if you're into that. Serious retail. So,
well, judging by Gabe's
2
robe.
hours, 3 hours in the studio, and who knows, another 2 or 3 hours eating and buying. Who knows? But you'll love it whatever way you do it.
And who knows, you run into Ian. He's here.
Excellent. Both of you, thank you so much for taking the time to talk with us all the way over here in Boise, Idaho this morning.
Thanks,
and
Melissa.
I know many people are adding this to their bucket list.